Okay, so that was Heather. Tamra. I can't. When I say someone is evil and manipulative and mean and rude and judgmental and jealous and a snake and is delusional, all signs point to Tamra Judge. It's insane. Let's get into her whole, all of a sudden saying that she's, quote, on the spectrum and that's why she doesn't have empathy and she wanted to check herself into a mental facility. It's giving Raquel Leviss vibes after Scandal when she was like, I have to go to a mental health facility and like really work on myself and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, no, because the problem with that is a lot of things. Number one, and I have the clip of when she says it with her and what's her name, Teddy, which is horrible. But to me, the core issue with this is, and this is just me being an ally, because I am not on the spectrum. So I am not a part of that community. So I cannot speak for that community, but I can speak in support of that community. So as a person who is not a part of the community, but wants to be an ally and support them, the way I look at it is you're taking an entire community of people and saying, oh, I have what they have. That's why I'm an asshole. That's why I'm a jerk. That's why I'm mean. That's why I've been doing all this crazy, evil stuff. How can you equate your toxic, evil, psycho, mean, vindictive, vicious, disgusting, psychotic behavior with a mental, emotional disposition? I'm not sure what the correct word is. I want to be respectful and use the right wordage. Diagnosis, right? It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And it's crazy and it's very, very disrespectful. But let's watch the little video we have of it. Then we'll get into what Vicki had to say and what Kelly Dodd had to say about everything. But let's watch the video. And when we watch the video, I want you to look out for a couple things. Number one, does it look like they're reading from a script? Number two, does it look like they both want to laugh? Like it's a joke for them. Like they're kind of laughing about it. So look out for those things, okay? Let me bring it up.
I just did my first therapy session.
What?
Let's just say I found out something pretty big about myself that I didn't know.
Now I need to know, like, what?
Really?
Yeah.
I am on the spectrum.
Oh my gosh, Tam.
Don't make me cry. My biggest problem is working through trauma that I had in my life. I have a hard time with empathy and feeling other people's feelings.
Well, I always think, why am I not the strong one? So,
I mean, that was so disgusting. They were clearly reading from a script, and two, they clearly looked like they wanted to laugh about it. Now, I also want to bring up the point about her talking about, oh, I have all this trauma and that's why I can't, blah, 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 blah. Number one, your trauma, anybody's trauma, is never an excuse to hurt other people. Everybody on this planet, I don't care who you are, has experienced some form of trauma in their lives. You either have, you're going through it, or you will. It's just literally a part of being a human being. The way you manage that trauma or the capacity or the amount of the trauma obviously can vary, and it's individual person to person as you grow through life and what your situations are, what your circumstances are. But I don't care who you are, you have some form of trauma. That never is an excuse for anybody to be hateful and hurtful and unkind and evil to other people. So number one, your trauma is not an excuse. Everybody has some form of trauma. So knock it off. Number 2, shout out to Heather McDonald over at Juicy Scoop. I saw one of her, it was either like an Instagram or a TikTok, and she was saying how people on the spectrum, I think they're like a protected group of people for the American employer, something like that. I'm not exactly sure what the exact name of it was, but some type of American employee organization or something like that, that basically helps to protect people, whether it's like a disability or a medical issue or whatever, or like a mental health issue, whatever the case may be, to protect them from biases and discrimination at the workplace. So you're not being fired simply because you're on the spectrum or you have a certain disability or you need something else. So it's put into place to protect people, to protect the vulnerable, to protect people who might otherwise be discriminated against or taken advantage of. And so Heather McDonald said, Tamara's coming out and saying this because she's scared she's going to get fired. So the only reason why she's coming out and saying this is because now she wants to be protected under this clause or organization or, whatever it is. She wants protection under that so that Bravo or NBC can't fire her. She can then claim, discrimination, you're firing me because I'm on the spectrum. Thank you. The 88 Americans with Disabilities Act. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Ms. Jules FL. I hope I said your name correctly. Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that she would use that as a way to save her job because she got so much backlash is so disgusting. But again, that's just who she is. She's just rotten to her core. I never liked Tamra, ever. I always thought she was just mean and rude. And you know what it is about Tamra and people like her that really grinds my gears? It's when you can see in their face that they are getting pleasure out of causing other people harm. It's sadistic. You can see in Tamra's face that she enjoys it. That when she gets under somebody's skin, when she gets Shannon to pop off and storm off, when she gets Jen to sort of go into herself and not say anything and look really sad, when she gets Heather to be embarrassed and uptight and all of this stuff, she gets a kick out of it. That is sick. Like that is psychotic and sick and sadistic to me. And they need to throw out Tamra and Teddy. They need to take, everybody does not deserve a podcast. Teddy is just as bad. Oh, what, Tam? Oh, really? Really? What did you say? Oh, you can talk to me about it, Tamra. I'm not reading from this script. I'm not holding back laughter. It's really like they got together and they're like, how can I save my job? Let's do this skit and say I'm on the spectrum. So then Bravo can't fire me because of the ADA Act. Sick. Absolutely sickening. Sick. So Vicki came out, shout out to Vicki OG, says she's making a mockery, which I agree. And I also think Vicki had a really valid point. So Tamra had the loudest opinion. It's my opinion. When Vicki was dating Brooks, although valid opinion, and Brooks, who also faked cancer to get out of being accountable for his actions. Same difference. Tamra, you're faking, and allegedly, because again, I'm not her doctor, but this is what she's come out and said. Allegedly, she's faking being on the spectrum because she has come out now kind of pushing back, she's peddling, I had the one session with the therapist and we talked about it for 15 minutes, 2-hour session. She said I had, things that were, so now she's reeling it back because I think she thought that, well, if I say I am on the spectrum or something like that, then I become untouchable. No one can say to me, what I'm doing is wrong, or no one can push back because I'm very similar to Whitney Rose in Salt Lake City. weaponizing their trauma and their healing and their mental health journey. Oh, the moment I say anything about mental health, I become untouchable, which is so disgusting and not true because we see each other. Okay, boo boo, we see each other. We know what is up. So it's totally disgusting to use that. Kind of went up on a tangent there, but yeah, it's like Tamra, it's horrible, but she's always done that. Oh, that's right. We're talking about Brooks. So it's the same difference, right? So Brooks, who is a con artist, narcissistic scam man, con Vicki out of so much money just to be on the show, just to be famous and to get access to her money, complete con artist, faking cancer to get out of being accountable for his actions. Tamra, in my opinion, faking being on the spectrum to not be accountable for her actions. Same thing. You're using a community of people who are vulnerable and disenfranchised as cover and shield to get you out of being accountable for your horrific actions. And I am happy that Shannon showed Jen the receipts on you, that you allegedly did the whole background check on Ryan, which I believe. And then trying to split hairs. No, it wasn't a background check. It was about the mortgage and whether or not he did. We saw the screenshot. It said, can you do a background check on this guy? Okay. We saw the screenshot, sweetheart. Get out of here. Knock it off. Knock it off. And then we had Heather Dubrow going, she did some interview, like the behind the scenes or whatever on Bravo, being like, well, I just didn't understand why Shannon waited 2 years. They were back in 2022. Heather, pipe down and please get some self-esteem. You don't need to be Tamara's mouthpiece. If I am Shannon Bedore with the way Tamara has treated me, I am going back to 2012, 2002, 1992, 1982, 1972, 1952. I'm going as far back as I need to go to check this chick. And what Shan was doing was saying, listen, Jen, this woman keeps coming after you and after you and after you, and you keep forgiving her and taking it. We need to come together. And how is that any different than what Tamara does? When Tamara goes to everybody and says, Shannon's a liar, Shannon's a drunk, Shannon owes the money, Shannon. How is that any different? So shout out to Shannon for getting a backbone, getting the receipts, and being like, let's go toe to toe. Now, I do think that with the reunion, I think we're going to be disappointed because people are saying that Tamra and Shannon kind of have a come to Jesus moment. There might be some reconciliation there. We'll see if that reunion moment lasts, because I feel like now that we're seeing more of the backlash, now that we're seeing more of everything come out, I hope Shannon doesn't drink the Kool-Aid and go back to being Tamra's friend in any capacity. But I think if that happens at the reunion, I feel bad for Shannon because I think Shannon might get some backlash for that. It's going to be like, wait a minute, we rode for you all season. This woman did you so dirty, and now all of a sudden it's kumbaya. I don't think so. I would feel some type of way. So I hope it's not a true reconciliation at the reunion. And I hope Shannon doesn't go back and get back with her. But that's kind of where I land on the whole situation with Tamra and Shannon and Vicki and Kelly saying that, Tamra needs to be fired. I agree. I do think Tamra needs to be fired. Another reason why Tamra needs to be fired is, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, because she said she wanted to be like Lisa Rinna. I believe in manifestation. You speak it, it becomes. You want to be Lisa Rinna. Lisa Rinna got what? Fired. Ding dong, the witch is dead. So you wanted to be Lisa? Well, then you're Lisa and you're going to get fired. And soon you're going to be like, I wrote Bravo an email telling them that I was ready to leave. It was my choice to leave. And then you're going to have NBC Bravo. Oh, it was a mutual decision not to renew. Everybody knows that's code for you got fired. Girl, bye. How can it be a mutual decision not to girl? Stop. So yeah, you wanted to be Lisa Rinna, you got her, boo-boo. You got her. So also a big thing with Tamra is she loves to talk about everybody, but she never takes any accountability for the stuff in her life, like what's going on with like her estranged daughter. I don't want to get too far into that because I don't want to get too dark, but she has an opinion on Jen and how Jen's going to take care of her kids when you're not in a position to take care of your own children. Work on getting, Sydney back in your life. What's going on with your other kids? Your son, Ryan, I don't know what's going on with him. He's always been a little scary to me. Like Ryan to me looks like, I don't know. He looks like he's got some stuff going on there. And a lot. It's just a lot. But yeah, I think that, yeah, work on your own children, work on, in Ryan's words, in Jen Ryan's word, work on soft Eddie. I'm not saying soft in a way to be disrespectful towards anybody's sexuality. I don't mean it that way. I'm just regurgitating what Ryan had called Eddie. Work on your marriage because it doesn't seem like everything is up to snuff there, and you were saying, oh, Eddie runs multi-million businesses. Where, who, and what? I'm confused. What does Eddie do? Don't sit and lie in my face talking about some CBD company or some supplement company. Knock that off. Eddie is not making multi-million dollars with that. Stop it. That's like I make $1 million in crypto. Do you? Liar. I make $1 million in CBD. Liar. Why did he run away to Big Bear where you guys live now? What's going on with that? He's in Big Bear and you're in the OC. Is that a separation you don't really want to talk about? What is going on with, and to me, to be honest with you, Eddie and Ryan's fight seemed like it was a fight between two lovers. How Eddie was so, and again, I don't mean that to be disrespectful to anybody's sexual orientation. I want to be very clear. Over here at the Candy Canes, we don't care how you get down how you get down, love who you love, do what you do. We are all inclusive over here. So when I say that, I just mean that's how it comes across as that. I don't mean that to be as a slander or by any means like that. So I make that abundantly clear. I'm just saying that Eddie and Ryan, their energy, the way that they were like fighting and going back and like doing shots at each other, I was like, what happened with y'all? Because it seemed more like two lovers had a falling out and now they're trying to go at each other. Do you know what I mean? It was like that, like, oh, well, I didn't like you anyway, or you were never good in bed anyway, or you broke anyway, or I was just like, I'm super confused. And then when Tamara getting wasted and jumping in, this is the thing. I always think it's a bad look both ways. When a man gets into a woman's face, sort of like, think about like Brooks and Tayleen's husband, I'm like, oh, all that stuff over in Dubai. I always think it's a bad look when a man gets into a woman's face or a man gets into women's business. But I also think that it's also very slimy and weird when a woman is wasted like Tamara was and her so-called friend Jen. And by so-called friend Jen, that's not a diss to Jen, that's just to Tamara because she's clearly not Jen's friend, is being so highly disrespectful to her friend's man or husband in her face like that. You know what I mean? That's also very weird and rubs me the wrong way. Like, don't come at my man like that while I am sitting here. You address me, don't address my man. You're my friend. You have an issue with something going on. You can talk to me, Tamara. I'm right here. You don't need to address my man. That's kind of what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? Finally, at least in this episode, Jen found her voice and had a backbone. So that's kind of what I'm feeling with Tamara. I think my final thoughts on Tamara is, I think she's lying about being on the spectrum. I think it was highly disrespectful to that community. And I think that she should be fired for that and just for how she's been this entire season. Berating people and lying on people and being toxic and being rude and just making the energy dark. Tamara, it's enough. So Tamara, you can be Lisa Rinna and you can be fired. Bye-bye. So let's get back to the review with the other ladies. Okay, now let's talk about Gina in the casita.